You think you see the world as it is. You do not. Your brain constructs a version of reality from electrical signals. Vision is not a window. It is a simulation. Visible light is electromagnetic radiation with wavelengths between 380 and 700 nanometers. Wavelength determines hue, color. Amplitude determines brightness. Light enters the eye through the cornea, a transparent dome that performs most of the focusing. The pupil is the opening in the iris that controls how much light enters. In dim light, the iris dilates the pupil to let more light in. In bright light, the iris constricts the pupil. The lens, behind the pupil, fine-tunes focus through a process called accommodation. The retina is the light-sensitive inner lining of the eye containing photoreceptors. The fovea, at the center of the retina, contains only cones and provides the sharpest vision. The optic disc, where the optic nerve exits, has no photoreceptors, creating the blind spot. Accommodation is the process by which the lens changes shape to focus on objects at different distances. Near objects require a thicker, more curved lens. Far objects require a flatter lens. With age, the lens loses flexibility, making close focus difficult, a condition called presbyopia. Rods are photoreceptors in the peripheral retina that detect light and dark, are active in dim light, and do not distinguish colors. There are approximately 120 million rods in each eye. They contain rhodopsin, a pigment that is highly sensitive to low light levels. Cones are concentrated in the fovea and provide color vision and fine detail. There are about 6 million cones in each eye. 3 types respond to short, blue, medium, green, and long, red, wavelengths. Cones require bright light and produce sharp, colorful vision. Bipolar cells collect signals from photoreceptors and pass them to ganglion cells. The axons of ganglion cells bundle together to form the optic nerve, which exits the eye at the optic disc. This is where the blind spot is, because there are no photoreceptors at that point. The optic chiasm is the point where the 2 optic nerves cross. Visual information from the left visual field goes to the right hemisphere, and information from the right visual field goes to the left hemisphere. This crossing enables integration by both hemispheres. Feature detectors are neurons in the visual cortex that respond to specific features of stimuli: edges, angles, movement, and orientation. Discovered by Hubel and Wiesel in 1959, they showed that cortical neurons fire selectively to particular visual features, not to general brightness. The trichromatic theory, proposed by Young and Helmholtz in the 19th century, states that color perception results from the activity of 3 types of cones sensitive to red, green, and blue wavelengths. Mixing these responses in different ratios produces all perceived colors. The opponent process theory, proposed by Herring, argues that color vision is based on opposing pairs: red-green, blue-yellow, and black-white. When you stare at a color, the opposing cell fatigues, causing an afterimage in the opponent color when you look away. Both theories are correct at different stages. Trichromatic processing occurs first at the level of cones in the retina. Opponent process coding occurs later in ganglion cells and the thalamus. Together, they explain the full range of human color perception. Color blindness is usually a genetic condition affecting cone pigments. Red-green color blindness is most common, affecting about 8% of men and 0.5% of women. It results from missing or dysfunctional red or green cone photopigments on the X chromosome. Depth perception, the ability to perceive the world in 3 dimensions, relies on both binocular and monocular cues. Binocular cues require both eyes and arise from the differences between each eye's view. Monocular cues work with one eye alone. Retinal disparity is the primary binocular depth cue. Because our eyes are about 6 centimeters apart, each eye receives a slightly different image. The brain calculates depth from this difference. Greater disparity means the object is closer. Stereoscopes exploit this principle. Convergence is a binocular cue based on the inward turning of the eyes when focusing on nearby objects. The brain detects muscle tension from the eye turn and uses it to infer closeness. For objects beyond 6 meters, the eyes point nearly parallel and convergence provides little information. Monocular depth cues include linear perspective, parallel lines converge at a distance. Interposition, one object blocks another, so the blocker is closer, Relative size. Smaller image means farther away. And texture gradient. Texture becomes finer with distance.